This is Yerushalmi Peah daf Lamed Amud Aleph. We got yesterday to the fourth line down. Amr B'Shua ben Levi, and that is in the Art Scroll Oz V'Hadar edition. In the Vilna, it is daf Tezayin Amud Aleph, the fifth line down. Amr B'Shua ben Levi. Amr B'Shua ben Levi. Haisel Sadeh. He had a field. Half it was a third grown, which of course is considered to be the minimum maturity. Half is not a third grown. Below speak similar to the case we showed yesterday. He it wasn't able to harvest half of the half. And now all of it is a third grown. Mafrish again mean haroshin. Al ha'imtsoim. It's a Russian, and Mafrishmin and Russian al Russian. So the same principle we had yesterday, which is that the first half which he harvested was not at all connected to the first 25% he harvested, not at all connected to the last 50%, because the last 50% wasn't maybe shlish, was the chayev. It is connected to the middle 25%, which was already maybe shlish, and the middle 25% is also connected to the last 50%, because it was in the ground at the same time as the last 50% where it came to shlish. So therefore, again, you can take from a Russian on Tzoyim, you can turn a Russian, but not from a Russian al Russian. From the first 25% on the middle 25%, or vice versa. On the middle 25% on the last 50%, or vice versa, but not from the first 25% on the last 50%, or vice versa. Halacha hey. Somebody who sold stalks of trees in his field. So the buyer gives pay from each every one. Amar Yehuda said, this is only a case where the Baal Sadeh did not leave anything around for himself. It says, from his own to his own self. He sold part of the field and left part of the field for himself. And no same Peah called, and he's responsible to pay on everything, including for the klachim which he sold to the buyer. Says Gemara, Akadun. Okay, this is good to be true. When he started harvesting already, before he started selling. And therefore, the Chiyuv Peah started, the clock started ticking. The Chiyuv Peah already evolved on the field. What about if the Mocher hadn't yet started harvesting at the time that he sold the Kalchei Ilan to the other fellow? Let's learn from here. You bought the shearings which your friend had shorn from his sheep. So im shear and of course Reishis Hagez is supposed to go to the Kohen, the first shearings. Im shear hamocher, if the seller left for himself some of the shearings, hamocher chayev, then he's liable to give the Reishis Hagez. If not, halokech chayev. If not, the lokech has to give the Reishis Hagez. So the Pnei Moshe says, based on this, the time Reishis Hagez, he sold to him, it's still connected to the sheep, its own. It goes in order to shear it. If the seller left some of the shearing for himself, even on the portion of the buyer. If he didn't leave anything over, then the buyer is the one who is chayev. Now, what's the rive here? Rabbi Yirmiyah, Rabbi Yochanan, Rabbi Yehuda. This is going like Rabbi Yehuda in our Mishnah. And here, the Kavanaki changes it to, instead of Shanyahi, it's different, to Kamad Tema, where it's just like, this is similar to that case over there. And even you don't change it, you have to learn it that way. And the way you learn it is like Pnei Moshe always learns in such cases. Shani, is it different? It's not different, it's the same thing. So you either change the Gemara straight out proof, or Shani, is it any different? Of course it's not different. So the So the I got something here on my screen. I should get rid of it. Okay. Okay, whatever it is. So the okay. Hopefully, it won't make a difference in the recording. I have this little square box on my here on my screen. I don't know if you see it too. But anyway, Kamada Tema time on bench is going to exos, son of bench is going to exos. There's no difference whether he began shearing or didn't begin shearing. The call Shani bench is going to exor, bench is going to exor. It doesn't make a difference whether he started harvesting or not. Why? My time Rabbi Yehuda. What's the logic of Rabbi Yehuda? Mishum the Chovas HaKatzir Bakama. Is it because the obligation for whatever's harvested is in this whatever left standing, and what's left standing belongs to the Baal Boss? Or Mishum the Mochel or Chutz Mi Chovas, or because he's selling the klach when he sells to the buyer, he sells without including whatever the obligations are. The obligations are not part of the sale. The obligations of whatever matonas are required. Let's learn from here. If he bought the sounds familiar, the shearings of his friend's sheep. If the mocha left over, the mocha is liable. There, of not lokech is required. Rabbi Yirmiyah, Shem Rabbi Yochanan, Rabbi Yirmiyah said Rabbi Yochanan, Rabbi Yehuda, it's like Rabbi Yehuda Mishnah. Isach Lameir Taman Jehovah's HaKatzir B'Kamah. That okay, it's a special look about payah. That whatever is the obligation for whatever's harvested remains in whatever's still standing. It's not relevant to Rishis Sakez. Rishis Sakez there's no such concept. So therefore, if we have a similar halacha there, it must be low. Rather, it must be mishum the machulo chutzin chavaso. You sell to him. You sell other, not including the obligations. So here too, here too, you sell without the obligations. What's the nafkamina? If you say that if the lokech was he set aside pay on his own initiative, right? You know, it was over. It wasn't supposed to. The mocher was supposed to, but he did it. If you're gonna say if it's because of chovas hakir b'katzir, that logically is because of chovas hakir katzir b'kama, so then he frees. Whatever he was, whatever he separated, he separated. Say however it's because he was selling them besides the chova, he fresh, the no team manu domi. He did whatever he separated, but he takes from him, he takes him money. Says Bnei Moshe, okay, but says I pay for all of it. In Tamer, the time of the chiyuva, I'm going to say the obligation of is on the mocher mitnei shechovas hakatzir bakama, because the obligation of the katzir is in what's ever standing. Can't even fresh lokech. He fresh. He set aside for Torah's payah, and it's considered big payah. Then more chayv litin lo dami shila payah. So doesn't have to give him compensate him. Tavi kilu fresh payah bitchila. It's as if a person took a payah bitchila of emsa, the beginning and the middle. Emsa katzir in the middle of the harvest. Dav a payah. It is payah. It's preferable that the payah be given and the whatever's left standing at the end. At the end of the harvest. If you separate first, it's valid. If you're going to say there's something besides the chiyuv, so then the chiyuv is on the mocher. That's the case. Hifrish, klamar vade, pay a havir mashi b'sholkech, but for not the mocher dami ba'da, he can pay. He can take money from the seller. Shachova chal gufa mocher because the chiyuv was on the mocher. So I've written the slide in my gemara that this is like a chefza gavra chiluk. So lamdishal brisker chiluk. The first side is that it's a din in the chefza. It's a din in the chefza. So then whatever is taken up as pay is taken up as pay. It doesn't matter lokech the mocher, and no compensation is due. Because the thing is, the field has to be payah, and whoever takes off, that becomes payah. But you know, if it's because the chiyuv is remained by the mocher, so it's a chiyuv on the gavra, right? So chiv on the person. So therefore, if the lokeach set it aside, he can say to the gavra, "You pay me for that because the chiv was on you, and now you have to recompensate me for having done it on your behalf." Kind of another nafkamina. Nisav chelko shemoch. We're going to say if the part of the cellar was burnt up. Anytime mishum lechovas akatzir b'kama, you're going to say that the obligation is in the kama, and obviously whatever kama is left is burnt. Nisraf nisraf. There's no pay to be given. Itemar mishum mocherlo chutz chavas. So we're going to say that the gavra retained, the babas retained the obligation. Nisraf no tell me meno damim. Explains Pei Moshe. V'chein im achar shemachalo v'shir mixes atzon nisraf chelko shemachar. Now mika benay. There's no limits. Itemar mishum chavas akatzir nisraf b'kama. We're going to say because the obligation remains in the standing grain. Yisraf nisraf. The hazle chavaso. What can you do? There's no pay. You take the time mishum the meicher meicher chutzi chavaso. It's something besides the obligation. Can a chayva a meicher lo'elam? The obligation is always on the meicher. And he's got, if he has a way of doing it, he has to do it. That means in this case, assuming the lokeach's, obviously lokeach's stuff is still standing. So then he has to go look at and say, "Listen, Rabbi, I have an obligation I have to fulfill. I'll pay you for it because it's my obligation. But Lemaisa, can you take off payah because I have that chayv on my chayv on the gavra, and the only way I could do it is with the part of the field which I sold to you." And that brings us to the bottom of Lamed Beis, and next is Allah Chavav, and therefore we will stop here for today.